And welcome back into Open Line. I'm Chuck Long with Kevin Kennedy from the Kennedy Law Firm. It is Ask an Expert. We are asking the legal expert himself, Kevin Kennedy. A lot of you calling in with those questions, and I certainly understand. One of the things that we often say is the law is complicated. Kevin makes it easier to understand. So a lot of you calling with those questions, and it not only helps you and your family or you and your friends, but it also helps a lot of the folks that are listening right now, watching right now. So if you had that thought, you had that comment, you had that question, the number's right there, 737-7587 is the number to call. Right now, we are going back to our expert, Kevin Kennedy. Kevin, I tell you what, a lot of folks on the line. We want to get to as many calls as we can tonight.
Well, head up, Chuck.
Julie is on the line with us. Julie, do you have a question or a comment for Kevin?
No, I have a question. If you haven't had the chance to make a will and you don't have no family, what's going to happen?
Okay. Well, there's a legal term called escheat. And when people have no will and they have no family, then it goes back to the state. So no one really wants that. So I'd urge you to try to get to a lawyer. And there's got to be some charity that all would benefit greatly from your efforts. And so that's what I recommend. But you're not the only person that comes to us and they don't have any family to leave things to. But we leave a lot of money to hospitals, to children's homes, and it's a wonderful thing to do. So you can consider that, and I know there'll be a lot of people willing to help you.
All right, good to know. So, Julie, we appreciate that call this evening. Let's go right back to our lines right now. Charlotte is on the line with us. Well, I'm not sure. All right, we're going to check back with that right now. All right. I think we have Gary on 3.
Yes.
All right, Gary, go ahead. Do you have a question or a comment for Kevin?
You got both, sir. First,
Okay.
I want to appreciate Kevin for being a good Christian lawyer. And
Thank you, Gary.
I know if you rent by the month and they don't pay their rent, you got to give them a 30-day notice, then they can go to court and get a 30-day notice. But if you rent by the week, at the end of the week, I've been told if they didn't pay the rent, you can lock the door. Is this true?
Well, Gary, first off, thank you for those great comments. There's no greater compliment a man can get than being a Christian, and I thank you for that. But somebody has kind of misled you a little bit, and I want to talk about it just for a second, Gary. You're right, 30-day notice when they rent. I've been in the rental business for 43 years. That's another one. But what you may not know, if you move someone in the house with you and you say you need to get out, if they've been there for just a small amount of time, but they are actually living there, you're going to have to give them the 30-day notice. So the week to week is not, you'll still have to give them a 30-day notice and you'll have to go through the process. Now you say, now, Kevin, I'm going to put those people out. I'm going to take their clothes and put it on the front porch. I'm not going to have somebody here that's not going to obey my home rules. Well, I want you to be very careful about who you let come into your home. And when you call the police, they are most likely going to say, you're going to have to go through the civil process. And you say, oh, no, I don't believe that. Because if you did, you've got someone in your home that could tear up the home, they can steal your personal property. There's a host of problems. So what I would say to you, be very careful when you have someone come in. And if you had it week by week, as soon as you saw there's a problem, immediately give them the 30-day notice. And then that'll start the process. If they don't get out, then you'll have to file suit. It's called a detainer warrant, General Sessions Court. And you know what the other problem is right now, Gary? The courts are full. So they're getting continuances and continuance. And you say, hey, I thought I'd have them out in 30 days. And of course, the court would say, sir, we're overloaded. The only thing we can do is continue it. So thank you for your question, Gary. But it's still going to take that 30 days to get it done.
All right. Thanks for that call, Gary. Right back to the lines right now. Let's go to Sue. You're on Open Line. Sue, do you have a question or a comment for Kevin?
Yes, hello. I have a question. I was, a couple of months ago, terminated from a job, and I was let go because I put in a 2 weeks notice, and I had to go get a COVID test. And now they're slandering my name in front of customers. Is there any way I have any kind of legality against them?
Yes, Susan. Sue, when anyone takes on this posture that they are going to slander you, talk bad about you, recommend things to other people that are not true, that puts that organization at a civil liability. It's what we call defamation of character, which is a 1-year statute of limitation. Slander is a 6-month statute of limitation. And what I would recommend that you go see a lawyer privately. And what a lot of lawyers do, they send a letter right off the bat. They say, please hereby be informed that we've been contacted by Sue. It is her position that you are making untrue and damaging statements about her. You are hereby notified to cease and desist from that. It's not a court order, but it is a letter. Now, we have put them on notice. If they continue with this kind of behavior, their potential liability increases, the damage increases. So if I received that letter, I would tell them, from any of my businesses, I tell my people, throw on the brakes. You know what a lot of people do too? They'll have a person who is not a good employee and they fire them. Well, they don't want the liability to recommend, say, I'm not going to say that these people were dismissed. What do they say? They come back and they say, well, guess what? So-and-so worked here from here to here. Well, tell me about him. What kind of employee? Then so many people that we see, they respond, that person is not eligible for rehire. So you're reading between the lines. They can't do it that way. They can't do it in a letter. They can't do it verbally, and they can't do it on social media. So a lawyer could put that letter out there, and it will protect you. And that's what I say, do immediately.
And, you know, with a follow-up to Sue's question, Kevin, like in her position, what kind of homework should she be doing? What kind of research or just should she be prepared with? And as far as talking with other people that she may work with or did work with at that place, kind of what should she do in this situation?
You are good, Chuck. You've been trained by the best. We take a proactive approach. And if I found the person that they were saying lies and spreading untruth rumors around, I would have that person, did you hear this person say it? Were they employed by this organization? The legal theory of respondeat superior takes over. That's Latin, meaning the person that owns that business is responsible. And if they didn't take steps, and I've got a letter, I could even go further and get an affidavit. Would you come to the law office and do an affidavit? Well, we've got that locked down. So once they've been put on notice and they continue, then they've just multiplied their damages because their words are hurtful.
And Kevin, if someone, like a friend that you worked with, did hear this and Sue just said, can I take out my phone and get you on video to say that, yes, they were doing this, is that something that they can do?
Chuck, you're my number one student. Watch out. Absolutely. Document, document, document. That is so good. You know, we had someone that was involved in a serious car wreck just this week, and a family member called me right in the middle and said, I said, well, go to the scene, get those photos and video. When, Chuck? When do we get them?
Right then.
Right now. Absolutely. When they got there, the police said, you can't stop. You can't stop, and tried to move them up. Well, remember, the police have their agenda, but you have your agenda. So you nailed it really good. Thank you. You can answer these questions as good as the lawyer can now, Chuck.
I've learned well. Like I said, it's the University of Kevin right here every time that we're together.
Let's do it.
All right.
Hey, you know, Chuck, the other thing is when we work together, when you put that together, the lawyer and the client, they're a team.
That's right.
And you put two of them, they're a hard bunch to beat. When we're standing side by side, even when the other lawyers see us, they see fear, especially when they know we've got this put together. And they say, I've got something for you, Mr. Kennedy. And I say, well, let me tell you, I've got a little something for you. Wham, everything changed.
Absolutely. That's it. That's a team. That's what you got to do. All right, let's go back to the lines right now. Dorothy is on the line with us. Dorothy, good evening. Do you have a question or a comment for Kevin?
Yeah, I want to know if he's ready to go to the White House. I'm ready to go, both of y'all.
Come on, Dorothy.
Doing this President Trump offer on 5 o'clock news a while ago. They pushed him in a chair or a desk and pushed him out. I think we need to go up there and do something about it.
Well, Dorothy, I love your spirit.
It's a shame.
Dorothy,
And I hope they are listening. so they can hear me.
I hear you, Dorothy.
I'll hang up.
Okay, one of the great things really for you, Dorothy, and Chuck and myself, we live in America where we have freedom of speech. And we can express ourselves and not worry about, now, you know, the truth of the matter is somebody needs to speak up. There are times, you know, one of my sayings that I use quite often, strong people stand up for themselves, but stronger stand up for others. And I love it when general public comes forward and someone is abusing a child in a grocery store or at a parade. People step in. You know why, Chuck? Because we have a sense of right and wrong that's born in us. There's a sense of justice. And that's really why we're committed to helping people on the front of the Kennedy Law Firm. Because if there is injustice, everybody is irritated. People will yell and say, that's not right, that will stop. So again, I want to thank people and let them express themselves. We are stronger. We live in America. I love America. And I want people to have that freedom. Guess what, Chuck? In some of these other countries, this show would not be possible. Even though you and I wanted to give some information away, we'd be filtered down. So in America and in Nashville, Tennessee, we're doing great tonight. Thank you so much for your comments.
That's right. A lot of voices, and it's great that all voices are heard. All right, Kevin, we have a lot of calls that have been coming in, and if you are just tuning in, as you can see, a lot of these calls help a lot of people. You may have one of those yourself. So get online with us, 737-7587. We'll take a short break, and then more Open Line right after that.